Good morning, my friends. It's Becky. Welcome back to my channel. On my channel, I am going through my good midlife crisis where I am journeying through my 40s, and y'all, I promise I am working oh so hard to get my poop in a group. In order to do this, I have been working on my physical, my financial, and my mental health. And today is Friday, March the 1st of 2024, and I am going to be budgeting out the money that you see above my head, $1,718.90. This is my paycheck. For today, I am going to be doing that using the app that you see. This is You Need a Budget, but the cool kids, we call it YNAB. This is the way that I digitally cash stuff. I am not a physical cash person. It does not work for me. My brain does not compute that physical cash is actual money, and it just blows it if you give it to me. So I do it digitally. And if you are new, welcome. Super excited to have you join us on this channel. You will find that I talk a super lot. Hopefully what I say is entertaining and informative. I talk a lot about my life, my family, and my budget. And then if you are not new, welcome back. So happy to see you again. I have some updates. I am sticking with watching my videos from last week before I come on here so that I can be reminded of what I talked about, and making sure all of my comments have been responded to. So everybody's comments from last week should be responded to, hopefully. And we have a lot to talk about. It's not 7:30, y'all. It's 7:20, so I am starting a little bit earlier than normal. I was actually going to start this about 6:30, but my nephew called me on his way to work, and I'm not going to not talk to my nephew. So sorry. Not sorry. I am super happy that he calls me now. And if you are new, or even if you're not new, you may not know, I try to talk to my mom every morning and every evening. This is a habit that I got into after my sister passed away. This is my nephew's mother. I got in the habit of calling my parents every single morning on my way to work just to check in on them and see how they were doing. And then every evening on my way home from work. This is obviously before I started working from home. It was like a 5-10 minute drive to my office, and so I just call quickly, check in on them on my way to my office, on my way home from my office, see how they were doing, what their plans were for the day, because the kids were with them part of the time, my niece and my nephews, and then check in on them on my way home from work. And it's just a habit that's stuck. And even now that my dad has passed, I still talk to my mom every morning and every evening. And I love that now my nephew is doing that with me because he's got a longer commute to work. For those of you who are not new, who are new, no, who are not new, I get confused on that, who watched last week's YNAB video, again, thank you so much for coming back. I mentioned that my nephew had taken the second part of his plumber's test last week, and we weren't sure how that had gone, and he did pass it. So Joe is a full-fledged licensed plumber in the state of Texas, so congratulations to my nephew, Joe. We're super excited. He passed both rounds of his plumber's test on the first try, which is super unusual, because it's a really hard test. So I'm really proud of him. I know he's worked really hard to do that. Anyway, so I was talking to him this morning about his new job. He just started a new job, and about his test and about his kids, because he's the father of my two great nephews that I save for. If you are familiar with my channel, if you're not, you will see that at the end of this budget. But we actually have quite a lot to go over today. I was trying to do a low spend in February. It was a part 2 of the low spend that I was trying to do in January with my friend Liz at Budget and Balance and my friend Michael at Midlife Money Moves. I didn't do so hot in January, so I tried to roll it into February. February failed way more miserably than January did. February was so spendy. So spendy. So spendy. And we're going to go over that here in just a moment. So, I made a decision that I'm going to talk to y'all about here in just a moment. To open, actually, let's just stop it right now. I made a decision to open another card with a zero interest balance. introduction. And I did this in anticipation of my vacation coming up this summer. So Nathan is one of my very best friends. He's also my landlord. I live with him. He owns the house that I live in, and I rent a room from him. He bought this house 10 years ago. We've lived together. If he bought this house 10 years ago, I've lived with him for 11 years because when my bestie Ginny got married, well, it was before she got married, but when she moved in with her now husband, she and I had been roommates for many years, 7, 8 years at that point. But she decided to move in with her then boyfriend. And so we had been renting a house together, and Nathan decided to move in and take over her part of the lease. And he took over the room that she had been staying in. And then he decided to buy a house because he has children and he wanted to have a permanent residence for them to have. So he bought a 4-bedroom house. And I moved with him and I rent one of the bedrooms. So he has his bedroom and then 2 bedrooms for his children. And I rent the 4th bedroom from him in this house. I have known him. I've lived with him for 11 years. I've known him for 12 years. His oldest son is graduating from high school in June. High school and college because he's right now doing dual credit. So he's graduating with an associate's degree because he's so smart and I'm so proud of him and I'm so excited to go watch him graduate because I've known him since he was basically 7 years old. He turned 7 like right after I met him. So basically since he was 7 years old. And I'm so excited for him. How have I known him since he was 7? Well, I guess I didn't meet him immediately. Yeah, I didn't meet him immediately because I'm like, I've known Nathan for 12 years and Jaden's 18. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to Washington State where they live with their mother in June, Lord willing. And so I know I have all of these travel expenses coming up. And so in anticipation of this, I decided to get a credit card that has a 0 interest balance that I could either put expenses onto or transfer balances to and not have to worry about paying them off immediately if I wasn't able to. Because YNAB has me super spoiled and all of my cards are at 0 or have a 0 interest. The only card that I carry balances on are my Mattress Firm, which I didn't know was a credit card when I opened it. I thought it was just like a line of credit. I was buying a mattress. And then my Best Buy card, which I plan to pay off this month, Lord willing. If you watched my budget setup for March, which I only posted yesterday because I was running super behind, so you may not have seen it yet. Spoiler alert, there's a cat attack, there's a puppy attack in that video. It was chaotic, but I did finally get it posted. Anyway, those are my only balances, and I hate that. I don't want to have interest bearing credit like ever. Like that's my goal. I don't want to have interest bearing credit. My goal is to pay off my only interest bearing credit this year, which is my debt consolidation loan. That's my goal for this entire year is to get rid of all of my interest bearing credit, like my debt. I don't want any of that. So I opened this card, my American Express card. I've never had an American Express card. They were coming at me pretty hard. I was getting advertisements from Credit Karma. I was getting advertisements on all of my YouTube videos. It was just coming at me and it was all 0 interest, no interest for 18 months, all of this. And I was like, you know what? I'm looking for a no interest card anyway. I'll just open it. So I did. I opened it. And that was my original plan, was to that Capital One card where I had put the Verbo for, if you watched last week's video, my original plan was to put where I had charged that Verbo. I was going to do a balance transfer to the Amazon card. But then I realized, I was like, wait a minute, I have this money budgeted to pay off the Best Buy card. Why don't I just pay off the Capital One card instead of paying off the the Best Buy card? I'll just pay that off instead, since the Best Buy card is 0 interest already. Instead of transferring this balance to a 0 interest card, I'll just pay this off instead of paying off the one that is already 0 interest. And that made more sense to me. So I just did that. But I made a decision my mother's birthday was last Friday, which I mentioned in last week's video, and my niece and my nephews and their significant others and myself, and Nathan actually joined us, all went out to a very nice dinner. I posted a picture, but I will insert one here as well. For my mother's birthday, my mom turned 77. And it was a very lovely evening at this amazing restaurant in a little town near me. Hidden gem. Highly recommended if you are in the Central Texas area. It's called the Standard on Vaughn. Delicious food. And my niece is a vegetarian. She was able to eat. I have celiac. I was able to eat. Nobody had any issues with the food. It was fantastic and delicious. Everybody was super friendly. I do recommend a reservation if you are going to try to go there because they get really busy because it's amazing food. But anyway, we decided to go. And I did something knowing I had a zero interest card that I have always wanted to be able to do. And I've never been in a position to be able to do it. And at the end of the meal, I just paid for it. I've dreamed of being able to just take my family out for a meal and not having to worry about it. And so I did it. Um, Probably not the wisest financial decision, but it's just something I've always wanted to be able to do. And so I did it. Nathan, of course, got upset at me and he transferred me $50 from his checking account to my checking account because that's how I pay rent and he pays me for like groceries and stuff. Like, so he just did that and there's no way for me to stop him. So he paid for his own meal. But my family, I paid for their meal. My plan was to just leave that and zero interest it and just pay it off $50, $100 at a time a month as I have the money. That was my plan. Here's my problem. Those of you who use YNAB will know what I'm going to say. Those of you who are new to YNAB may not know what I'm going to say, and I'm going to tell you YNAB has ruined me. They have absolutely ruined me. Because the idea of leaving a balance on a credit card, I have literally lost sleep over this, even though I know it's a zero interest balance. It is keeping me up at night, quite literally keeping me up at night. The idea of leaving a balance on my card. So here's what I have decided to do after much debate, going back and forth over this, because the idea of also taking money out of another category doesn't throw me either. But I think it makes more sense to me to take the money out of my emergency fund and pay this card off and then pay my emergency fund back $50 or $100 a month at a time than to pay my card off $50 or $100 at a time for my own mental sanity's sake, because I just hate seeing a balance on a card. I just hate it. I've gotten my cards all paid to zero and I just don't want to leave a balance on there. I just don't. If you are new to YNAB and you have credit card balances and the idea of having all of your cards paid to zero is a pipe dream at this point, I totally understand that because that is exactly where I was when I first started my debt-free journey, when I first joined YNAB. And if you would like to get where I am now, because that was me 3 years ago. 3 years ago. And I got there very quickly. Honestly, I got there by doing a debt consolidation. Not going to lie, that helped me because despite what certain people say, you can borrow your way out of debt because lower interest is much easier to pay off than high interest. A 5% loan goes much faster than a 30% loan. Just going to say that, Dave. It's much easier to manage and pay off. But my cards are all zero. I pay them off every week. I don't even pay them off every month. I pay them off every week. Every Thursday night, I go through and I pay all of my cards to zero. If you see a balance left on the card, that is because these are recent charges that have not cleared and I can't pay them yet. This $18 is literally from last night's dinner. This $10 is from yesterday morning. This $69.40 we are going to talk about next. I told you we had a lot to talk about. This $85 is not actually even on my card this is my mom's propane, like the tank rental for the annual tank rental. I need to call them um, and actually tell them to charge it. This is that invoice that I said they sent me, and I kept expecting it to hit, and it's like I owe it to them. I keep expecting them to charge it, and they haven't charged it yet. So I guess I need to call them and tell them to charge it. I'm going to try to do that today. I just haven't had a chance to call them. Um, and then this is my line of credit for my mattress that I didn't even know was a credit card. So that's why I have those balances. Everything else, I literally log in and pay every single Thursday and pay my cards off to zero. Um, I have a link in my description box to try out YNAB for free for 34 days. You don't put any credit card information in, you don't put any way of paying. They cannot charge you if you do not like it, if you do not log in, if you forget to cancel it. They can't charge you. If you do like it at the end of the trial and you want to sign up for it, you'll get an additional 30 days for free. And then if you do sign up for it, they send me 30 days for free as well as a thank you for referring you. So you get 64 days for free. I get 30 days for free. And everybody has a budget that hopefully helps them stay debt free and get their money in order. That's the goal. Okay. So what we are going to do right now is we're going to add my new credit card because I purposefully didn't do it so that I could show y'all how to add new cards for people who are new and interested in learning about YNAB. We're going to add the balance to it, and then we're going to transfer the money from my savings into to pay that off. We're not physically going to transfer it because YNAB is not a bank. My money is not here. My money is in my bank. And then I'll log on and pay it later, like right after we're done with this. But I'm going to set it all up in YNAB so y'all could see how I do it. We're going to go talk about what is going on with my Capital One card. We're going to talk about that. And this overspent is not actually overspent. This is just a bill that came out today, and today is the first. And so since I have it set up on scheduled payments. Oh my goodness, my brain just stopped working for a second. Since I have it set up on scheduled payments as a payment that comes out on the first, it says it's overpaid because today is the first. So what I'm going to do is pause. I'm going to shrink myself up into the corner so y'all can actually see my budget, and we will be right back to do all of the things. All right, here we are with my budget for March. Also, it looks like whatever was going on with the toolkit, they fixed it. So this, my emphasized current month is working, and I can see the current month. If you were here last week, I could not see the current month. Like, I could see the previous month and the past month. Previous month and the past month are the same thing. Previous month and the next month, but I could not see the current month. Also, I know my days of buffering is quite down, but that is because I know that I did a lot of spending in February, and it's going to go down even further when we put this money into the American Express card. But that's okay. That's okay. I've made decisions. I don't actually regret them. I just regret what they're going to do to my budget. But I am very, 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 very happy with the decisions I've made. So first things first, my we're going to add my American Express card. Okay, so we're going to go down to the bottom where it says add account. Libby, I'm going to respond to your comment from yesterday real quick. I saw it. I haven't responded yet. And this is from yesterday's video, not from last week's video. Yes, I do have a 401k coming out of my checks before they hit my account. I do have retirement coming out. So I do have a retirement account. I don't talk about it on here because it's not in my budget, but yes. And this coming down here just reminded me. I haven't logged in and reconciled it in a little bit, so I don't know that this number is accurate, but I do have a 401k that money comes out of my check pre-tax. So, but thank you. Yes, I do have that. There's a lot of money that comes out of my check before I see it. I have my HSA, I have my 401k, I have my all of my medical expenses. I don't even know what else comes out. There's so much money that comes out of my check before it hits my account. So it would be nice if like your net and your gross was just so much closer together, but it is also nice that you get all those tax breaks by all the stuff coming out of your check before they take taxes out of it. So I guess there's benefits in both ways. All right. I personally don't link any of my accounts. That is a choice. Most people do link their accounts. I don't because I like to manage them. I like to go in and reconcile them myself. But most people will link their account. So if you're going to link your account, you would come here and link it, and then you'd put in your account information, and it would go log into American Express and find it. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to link to do an unlinked account. I'm just going to call this Amex. And the way I do my accounts is I do it and I put it the due date. And I think I was trying to find this morning, but this is a brand new card, so I don't actually know when the due date is. I don't know when the statement close is. I think this is when it's due, but when I actually get a statement, I can update this if I need to. I think it's on the 12th. This is a credit card. It's going to ask you what type of card it is. So I put the type of card that it is and then the date that it's due so that I can put it in order. That's how I do it. And then it's going to ask you for your current balance. I'm going to start it at 0. No, I'm going to start it at the balance that it is because I don't want to pull this balance from a category. I don't have a category to put it in. You can just tell it. I am going to pay the balance all at once. It's going to ask you how you want to pay it. Pay it off over time is going to ask you to set up a target, or pay it all at once. It's just going to make it all due right now. So then it's going to tell me it's all going to be due right now. Then it's saved and it's done. I'm done. So now I have another card here. It's in my credit card section, and I am going to click it and drag it up here to the 12th because that is when it is due, and it tells me I have a $335 balance. And that's it. Now I'm going to go back to my budget, and it's going to ask me to assign money to that. What I am going to do, it's going to be down in my credit card section. Since I have made the decision, credit cards are up here, Becky. Since I have made the decision, where's the 12th? Why is it not here? Oh, it's all the way down here. I have to move it up here. I want to put it above Maurice's because randomly I used my Maurice's card. Maurice's is a clothing store. I don't know if they have them everywhere. I used my Maurice's card for the first time in like 2 or 3 years this week to buy some pants that were on sale. I think it was like the first time in 2 or 3 years. I had to I couldn't remember how to log into the website to pay my card because I paid it yesterday. I had to re-sign all the like online agreements and everything when I tried to log in. It was so complicated to pay that card yesterday. It was like $40, 30, it was, no, it was like $30. I can't even remember how much the pants were, but I needed new jeans. Like all of my jeans, the ones that fit me are like falling apart because I only have like 2 pair that fit me. And, so I needed new jeans and they had a good sale. And so I bought them and paid them off. And I like couldn't figure out how to pay my card because I hadn't used that card in so long. Anyway, that was a fun fact. But anyway, because I am not going to be assigning money from up here because I have decided to use a balance that is in another section, I am going to be covering this from another section. So I'm going to click here. Why is my computer being so laggy? Why? Oh, I have to click here. Okay. Nope. It's not going to do it. Okay. I guess because it's not an overspent category. All right. I'm going to go to my emergency fund and I'm going to say I want to move $335 to Amex. I don't know why it wouldn't let me cover it. I guess because it's not actually overspent. And I hate that. I hate that. I hate that. I hate that I did that. But I still have over $1,000 in my emergency fund, which is good. It's just not what I wanted to do, but I can pay that card off and I can put money into my emergency fund instead of putting money onto that card. Okay. The other thing we needed to talk about today is my Capital One card. So, if you watch my budget setup for March, I also did a camping trip. I set up a camping trip. Um, I am going camping in July for my birthday, and that sounds awful because I live in Texas and it's going to be super, super hot. But there is this amazing campsite at this place that I like to go. And it is right on the lake and it is completely shaded. And I like to kayak and I like to swim and I like to camp. And it is right on the lake where I can just put my boats in the water from the site and I can just get into the water from the site. If I can go swimming, I can go kayaking, I can pull my boats up and put my boats in the water. I don't have to carry them anywhere. There is shade. It is right across from the bathrooms with the showers. And I'm a tent camper, so I can just walk across the street to take a shower or use the restroom. It's got the fire pits. It's just an absolutely perfect website campsite. And so I was staking it out, and it wasn't open for reservations for the summer. And I was going to try to get a weekend, and it wasn't open. It wasn't open, and then I forgot about it. And then when I looked again, it's booked up. It was booked up from March when I started looking all the way through the end of August when reservations end and you can't go past that. The only time there were like 10 to 15 days that it was available, and 3 of those days just happened to be in the middle of the week over my birthday, which is in July. So I snagged them. I snagged 3 days over my birthday for campsite. And Nathan has a state park pass. This is at a state park. Nathan has a state park pass. And so we used his state park pass. He logged in and I paid, but I paid for it because it's me that wants to go camping. And so I got a discount and it was $57 and something cents for the 3 nights. And we booked that. And I'm gonna go. I think it'll just be me, him, and his oldest son, Jaden, who will be living with us at that time, to go camping. And then other friends can come and go if they want to, because it's in the middle of the week. Once everything is finalized and it's a little bit closer, I'll send out like an invitation to friends to be like, hey, you can come, you can go, you can do whatever. Because it's a pretty big site, so you can have multiple tents there if you want to. But it's so far in the future. I just wanted to snag the site because I know if I didn't, it would not be available. So I went ahead and booked that campsite, but it was $57. What did I say? $57.50 for that. I also got Nathan's. We're gonna go see Dune tonight. I got his movie ticket. He's already paid me back for that. But I figured I would just wait and pay everything today. So I need to cover that. Nikki, if you are watching, this is how you put in scheduled transactions. You just tell it what date, you just add a transaction, you tell it what date it's going to come out, and then you save it. And then when it's ready to hit, it will hit. So I am going to go ahead and cover this. I'm going to cover my vacation. I was already planning to put extra money into vacation this month. So I'm just going to put a little bit of it, what I was planning to put at the end of the month, I'm just going to put it at the beginning of the month. That being said, it is 7:50. We need to start budgeting. Let's do that. So, paycheck 17, 18, 90. Hopefully that is going to be what they are going forward. They've been fluctuating between 17, 18, 89 and 17, 18, 91. So hopefully 17, 18, 90 is what they're going to be going forward now. Well, I do my budgeting is every week I give myself $40 for dining out. I give myself $100 for groceries, $10 for fun money, $80 for ecclesial expenses, $60 for the donation, $20 for a meal out afterwards, $15 for coffee, which I am setting a goal for myself to stick to this budget because every week I wham money into this category and I go over, and I need to not. $25 goes into my gas category and $25 into my self-care category. Those are on paycheck weeks, which this is. Pet expenses gets $50 at the beginning of every month. Household gets $100 at the beginning of every month. And then YouTube and budgeting, I am combining these two together now. YouTube is because I have this channel now. And so I need to keep track of what I am spending on my YouTube expenses. I do think I am going to leave these separate. I'm going to put the money into YouTube. Because most likely what I am spending on YouTube slash budgeting is going to be for the channel. But if I happen to buy something that is for budgeting that I don't think I'm going to use on the channel, I can't think of an example of what that might be because I do think everything I would buy for budgeting would be used on the channel. But if I do happen to buy something that I think would not be used for the channel, I would put it in just budgeting. So I am going to leave both of these, but I do think I'll edit the target to be for the YouTube expenses and remove the target from budgeting. I think that's what I'll do. I'm going to put $30. I have upped that. It was 25, but I'm changing it from 25 to 30. Stuff I forgot to budget for gets $20 every month. Did I even put that in here? No, that must be in next week because I ran out of lines. So that's fine. That'll go in next week. Okay. Reimbursable doesn't get anything on a regular basis. This is because Nathan wants me to buy him a Coke at tonight's movie, so I'm just going to leave that here until I buy his Coke, or Dr. Pepper probably. Giving. Giving gets $100 a month. That is, and then I'm going to snooze that target because I budget it all here, and then as I spend money through the month, I put it down into these other categories. So if I buy something for birthdays, which I know I have Alex's birthday, which I've technically ordered the stuff on Amazon, but it hasn't cleared yet, so I'm going to count it as March because today is Alex's birthday, Nathan's younger son. So it will come, I'll move it from here down into here as it when it clears. So I snoozed this target because otherwise, if I moved it from here down to here, it would ask me to add more money to it, and I don't want to add more money to it. $100 is all I want to put in. I do normally end up spending more, but I don't want to. Okay, that is that category. Then my bills. So I've already funded the first two that are due on the first, my mom's insurance and my car insurance. And then I have Best Buy, which is that one that is telling me it is overspent. That is a credit card. It is not actually overspent. It's just due today. So that is $50 for today. I am planning to pay this off, but I will do that at the end of the month once I make sure everything else is covered. That is going to be my extra debt payment. I do that at the end of the month. YouTube Premium, I pay for that is $15.14. Since I have a target set, I can just hit this underfunded button. And then that is it. Those are my only two payments that I have due. This budget will go through the 7th. Everything else I have here is due after that. So Aflac is my supplemental insurance policy that I have. It's not due till the 5th. This is why I put these dates here, so I will know when they're due. Then I have my sinking funds. I'm going a little bit fast because I only have 5 minutes before I have to be at work. I'm sorry about that. I have my sinking funds. So we are going to be putting, and this time, y'all, I used my budget by paycheck book to set these up. This time I put them in order. So going forward, they should be in order and easier to find for me. My car maintenance fund, I'm going to be putting $50 into here. Clothes gets $25. Vacation, I was originally going to put 25, but I am going to be putting $100, and that will cover the overspending that I did. Passport renewal gets $1.77. No judgment spending does not get anything assigned to it. That is just for when I get a wild hair in my head and I decide I just need to go spend money. I will pull from whatever categories I feel like I can pull something from and then go spend, and I don't have to take money from those categories. I can just spend whatever I want with no judgment. My Mission Lane annual fee is $4.92 a month to set aside. I am still debating whether or not I'm going to keep that card. Taxes, I put $25 paycheck away for that one. So that at the end of the year, next year, I will have money set aside to pay for my tax fees, because I'm going to have to pay a tax professional to prepare my taxes next year because I don't know what I'm doing with a small business, and this is the first year I will be fully monetized for the full year. and I don't know what I'm doing. And then also in case I owe anything. Planet Fitness is my gym membership. They have an annual fee on top of their monthly membership. Power Suite is the software that I use. And for editing, $9.58 a month I set aside to pay for that when it is due. YNAB is this software. It is, again, a paid membership. So I am technically only underfunded $2.88 because y'all are awesome, and I have a lot of people use my referrals, and it's been pushed back from when it's actually due, but I am going to go ahead and still fund it the $9.59 that it was originally done. That way I can just get it funded, and it's not technically due until January now, which is amazing, but I'm just going to go ahead and get it funded. I think by next month is when I'll have it fully funded, and then I will just stop funding it. Costco is $5.55, I think. No, it's only $4.05. So that's better. I think I had this membership at the wrong price at one point. I think I had $70 instead of $60. Registration and inspection is my annual car registration and inspection that is due every year. And that is it because I ran out of lines, and we'll do the rest of them next week. And then my sinking funds. Nope, that we did sinking funds. My savings. So we're going to put, ironically, because I took money out of it, but I am going to put $52 into my emergency fund because I put $52 every week and every paycheck into my emergency fund. No, every month into my emergency fund. So I'm going to build it back up. Starting next month, I'm going to try to put extra money into my emergency fund now that I have taken money out of it. And then every week, every paycheck week, I give my great nephews each $2. So I am saving their ages. Baby Joe is just over a year, and baby Jet is he's almost 4 months old now. So they each get $1 a week, $2 a paycheck. That is everything. I have $779.24 left. I am going to put that into next week. So I'm going to roll that over into next week. So plus $779.24. When you come back next week to watch my YNAB budget with me, that is the money that we will be budgeting out. That is it. 7:59, y'all. We made it. Good thing I started early. I knew we was going to have a lot to talk about. Okay. I love y'all. Thank you so much for sticking with me and listening to me ramble on about my Joe because I am super proud of him and my choices that I made. I don't know if they were right or wrong, but I think they were right for me. And so that is what I have decided to do. Let me know what you think, if that's what you would do, if you agree. But for me, I think that's what I need to do because I just can't see the balance. All right, y'all. I love you. I hope you are having a fantastic day. Happy March. Oh, and before everybody asks, Tipo was my friend, Troy, who passed away almost 9 years ago now. And in March, we celebrate Troy Patrick's Day on the 17th. So, and he was really into monkeys, my monkey Steve. So that's what my board is going to represent this month. On the 17th, we will celebrate Troy Patrick. So that's why I have that here this month. All right. Have a fantastic day. Happy March. And I will talk to y'all later. Bye.